The Dallas Cowboys were bounced early in the playoffs once again, and now we have to wonder if America's team will ever get over the hump with Jerry Jones still in charge.
How about them Cowboys?
How's it going today? My name is Jesse McNamer, and welcome to Point of View. Before we get into it today, I just want to say we always appreciate your feedback and look forward to reading your comments like the one we've got here. My friend, when the Jaguars window closes a year from now, please come back and let's rehash this. Sound good? And also for everyone, be sure to stay tuned to the end of this episode to see if you can guess today's trivia question down below. To today's topic, are the Cowboys destined to be the butt end of the joke in every postseason now? They did it yet again when they fell to the 7th-seeded Green Bay Packers in the first round of the playoffs in what was an ugly performance from a team who had won 16 straight home games. And this type of disappointment is nothing new to the Dallas fans. They changed coaches, they changed quarterbacks, nothing has worked despite regular season success. So what do they have to do to get past the playoff hurdle? Well, we can probably start by looking at the guy in charge of putting together the team every year. Here's team owner Jerry Jones after the playoff loss to the Packers.
On a personal basis, I'm floored, and so not that there's any world's smallest violin for me being floored. I get that, I understand that, and I know where the responsibility starts and ends, and I've got that real clear, and I know that. But that's not the point. The point is that I'm disappointed in everybody.
He says it himself that it starts and ends with him, which isn't new news, but self-awareness doesn't mean you can magically fix your flaws. He's still not doing enough in free agency, and he hasn't hired the right coaches for the job. And his newest offseason slogan is all in, as in they'll do whatever it takes to win right now. What does it mean to Jerry Jones? Here, he is discussing just that.
Well, I will assure you there'll be some things done differently because we're going to be working on different players and drafting different people. And so just the very nature of it is different. Different people or different, we've got different coaches. We're going to be doing every solution or working toward the solution being to win this year. Every solution. And that's what I mean all in.
I guess he's not wrong. It is different because there are different players in the draft and some different coaches on staff doing the evaluating. But how a normal person would perceive all in isn't how Jones explains it, and that's evident by the Cowboys offseason thus far. Defensive coordinator Dan Quinn left for Washington's head coach job and took several key Cowboys free agents with him, including Dorrance Armstrong, Tyler Biadasz, and Dante Fowler Jr. Tyron Smith and Tony Pollard also departed, and the replacements aren't all that convincing. I guess we have to expect Zeke to turn back the clock a half-decade and carry the load in the backfield? I know it's running back by committee with Rico Dowdle, but come on, is that really enough? And the wideout position isn't much better without Michael Gallup. After CeeDee Lamb, it's Brandon Cooks and a bunch of guys just trying to make a name for themselves. I don't need to go through the whole roster position by position, but it's a mess up and down the board. Now I'll give Jones the credit he deserves. I like the low-risk sign of Eric Kendricks to reunite with new defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer, and he spent a lot of draft capital on the offensive and defensive lines. But that's not going to matter for his all-in approach. They needed to make a splash or two and did none of that. Instead, they'll look awfully similar to last season with Mike McCarthy at the helm and Dak under center. So back to the original question. What should the Cowboys do differently to get over the hump? Let's be honest with each other. Jerry Jones isn't leaving Jerry's world anytime soon, and until then, there may not be a solution. But the glimmer of hope has to remain in the draft. If they won't sign the big-name free agents, they have to continue to draft players like Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs. Not all players need to be superstars, but building a team that can grow together is both financially beneficial and great for team chemistry. Here's McCarthy and what he's seen from this rookie class in training camp thus far.
You always hear the statement, this is the best group we've ever had, and we feel like we say that every year. The quality of work that when we've been able to get done since the draft, to last night, kudos to the coaches and the players because it definitely showed up today. I've been very impressed with this group.
Big Mike is right. Every coach says the same thing every year. And while the draft picks they made aren't evident of an all-in team, they are the type of big swings you need to take in hopes they develop by the end of their rookie contracts. First-round pick Tyler Guyton could be a rough day-one starter at left tackle, but he's got the tools to develop into a premier pass protector. Cooper Beebe is another investment on the offensive line that could pay off down the road, and Maris Leofau could be the next Leighton Vander Esch, and I mean in his prime, of course. So while they aren't signing the big free agent names, which is incredibly frustrating for the fan base, there's some hope to lean on while Jones remains in charge. And while I think it's more than likely they take a step back this season, they could find themselves in a great position in 2 or 3 years, especially if second-round pick Marshawn Nealon develops how I think he will. For more on how he could turn into the next Max Crosby, check out our recent point of view. And the moment you've been waiting for, here's the answer to today's trivia question. We appreciate you tuning into this episode of Point of View, and we will see you in the next one.